Hi, I'm Warren Katz, CEO of ET Mock.
Hello everyone, today we're going to be interviewing Warren Katz, founder of Mock Technologies. We've got a couple of questions for you today,
Sure.
Regarding your decision to retire.
Yes.
So, Warren, can you tell us what you're feeling as your career at Mock comes to a close?
Yeah, well, it's been quite a long and twisty journey that has come to its natural end. Much like the journey undertaken by a field mouse, as it travels down the esophagus of a mountain lion, twists back and forth through the small intestine, enters the colon, and ultimately emerges out the other end. Now, like that mountain lion's waste product, I'm ready to fertilize whatever next organization I end up in with nutritious and nitrate-rich ideas.
I see. Okay. That's some vivid imagery from Warren Katz.
What comes to mind when you think of Warren Katz?
He has this fascination of hosing down monkeys.
Hosing down monkeys.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Oh, you haven't heard the hosing down monkey story?
Of course, everyone's heard the hosing down monkey story.
But he brings it up all the time.
Well, not everyone can rock the animal print t-shirts.
He started to describe the great integrators, the big defense contractors, the Boeing, the Lockheeds, and they were the guys who sat at the table. And they ate their meal. And then the scraps that fell off, those were eaten by the dogs. And those were the smaller integrators, some of our customers. And we used to be the dung beetles that ate the feces from those dogs, but we had moved up to be the fleas that bite those dogs.
Warren, who were some of the most important influences on your professional career?
Let's see, there really are so many. Clearly, I've tried to be a modern-day Joe McCarthy, trying to stamp out communism within the federal government.
He taught me how the U.S. Defense Department totally reinvented communism in their acquisition process, and how well he put that together in a presentation back in the day. I hear he doesn't say that so much anymore.
Well, that and the telling the powers that be in the military that they're communists.
Definitely somebody who speaks his mind, even if it means calling generals a communist in a public meeting.
Definitely.
And obviously, my longtime haircut was heavily influenced by the mom on the Brady Bunch.
And a mullet haircut.
Mullet. Mullets.
There's the mullet.
Mullet.
The mullet.
Hair. Interesting hair.
But really, I've always tried to pattern my life after the great Hugh Hefner. I think the secret to business success is to sleep till noon, live in a mansion, wear a bathrobe to meetings, smoke cigars, and surround myself with talented and good-looking employees.
I will never, ever attend a full-day off-site meeting in my bathrobe without having shaved for the day. I promise you that.
I remember Warren being interviewed on CNN Financial News Network and looking very professional, suit and tie, does a very nice interview, and then the camera pans back toward the end and you see underneath the desk Warren wearing his suit and some white sneakers dangling from the chair below it. So yeah, still the same old Warren, even the suit and tie.
And I love the story about the rumpled pants they pulled out of the drawer for that TV interview, and they ended up panning down. That's freaking hilarious.
Okay, so what were some of the best or most important decisions that you've made as CEO over the years?
Right, well, number one has got to be including the umlaut in the company name.
Definitely.
Best decision ever.
Agreed.
And at that point I thought, I really have my work cut out for me as a marketing manager here.
Second was my unorthodox decision to move the company into this building back in 2006 while it was still being constructed. The white noise created by the circular saws and the nail guns completely blocked out the distracting jackhammer noises coming from the BBN parking lot next door, restoring a serene and productive environment for complex software development.
I've got less good memories of sitting in Warren's unheated, unfinished basement for that first winter. Warren still is, I would say, on the cost-conscious side. And I would remember that we had one space heater we decided that we could afford. And it was the kind that, if you sat in front of it, radiated heat real well. And you kind of get the thing positioned under your desk, because maybe I got in there first. After a while, you'd have to go to the bathroom. So you get up, you go upstairs to use his bathroom, you come down, and then magically the space heater would be under somebody else's desk.
But really, as far as decisions go, I think the best decision in my career was to challenge a 260-pound Scottish guy to a midnight drinking contest in an Irish pub in Orlando. It gave me the opportunity to do something nice for one of our customers the next morning by taking his rental car to a car wash. Twice.
Well, that is kind.
But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
At the 20th anniversary party, him saying, "What do you mean we can't serve the case of port that I brought?" And I said, "It will violate their liquor license." And he said, "Can we serve it at the hotel?" And I said, "Well, you got 40 people staying there, so find somebody who has a room." And he pulls out his phone and his notepad and he said, "What's your room number?" Walked into that one.
Efficient drinking comes to mind. I think you coined that phrase, and it probably is appropriate. One other memory I remember is the Jico, the visits to Jico, and lots of different dinners, but especially the one at Jico. You're arguing with the waiter over port. Not maybe arguing, but trying to teach him about port.
Port?
Old port.
Yummy, yummy port.
He's the only person I've been with where I've seen 3 bottles of wine rejected at a restaurant. Warren and I were out in San Diego once where we went to some restaurant and he ordered his bottle of wine and he came out and I was unfortunately sitting next to him because I can't tell the difference between like a Merlot and, I don't know, a Chardonnay. And he gets this bottle of wine, they open it up, he smells it, they pour him the glass, he gives it to him, he's like, "Ah, this doesn't taste good." And he's like, "Jim, taste it." So I taste it, I'm like, tastes pretty good. He's like, "Ah, it's crap, isn't it?" He like sends it back, they get out another bottle of wine, they open it up, they pour it in, he tastes it, he's like, "Ah, this is no good. Jim, taste this." And I taste it, I'm like, "Ah, it's just like the first one." He's like, "Yeah, no good." Throws it out. The third bottle of wine comes, and he sends it to me, and he's like, "Jim, taste this." And I look at it, and I taste it, and I'm like, "Yep, tasted like the other two." And he's like, "Oh, this is a great bottle of wine. We'll keep it."
Warren, during your time at Mach, you were perhaps Mach's main external ambassador. What were some of the most interesting and exotic experiences you've had in your travels?
Well, let's see. One time I unwittingly attended a concert by the metal band Korn while wearing business attire.
Nice.
And one time, because I was the guest of honor at a dinner, one of my Chinese customers forced me to eat the genitals of a sea turtle. I think that kind of sums it up.
Warren running down the stairs and saying, "I lost my guy from China."
Do you have any regrets about how you've handled your career while you were at Mach?
Well, for the most part, I make it a point to remain blissfully unaware of any of my social faux pas or insulting comments. I have been told, though, that I once compared our IT department to our janitorial staff, and I do seem to remember telling a valued customer that he was a cockroach.
We're giving a demo for a prospect who came in, had been a previous customer, had actually stiffed us on some money at one point. So I'm giving the demo, seated, the client's next to me, and we're talking about what we're going to do, and Warren comes in and says, "Hey, Deloy, how you doing? It's so good to see you. Boy, you just keep coming back. You're like a cockroach customer. We can't get rid of you." That's what I think of when I think of Warren Katz.
But the only statement I really regretted came on Halloween 2005, when one of our female employees came to work in what was a perfectly tasteful Raggedy Ann costume. And I think I might have began a staff meeting by telling her she looked like the first scene in a bad porno movie.
I see. So that's it, no other regrets?
Not that I can think of. I think that all of our large international labor contracts that I signed us up for have worked out exactly as planned.
Oh, that's good.
You know, Warren has taught me a couple of things during the time that I've known him. Mostly about boats, actually. So I guess Warren's rule number 1 is a boat is a hole in the water you throw money into. And rule number 2 is the best kind of boat is a friend's boat. Unless, of course, that friend is Warren, in which case his boat has no power.
There's the infamous, baseball jersey shirt story. Probably shouldn't go into detail on camera about that.
Do you think Mach will ever have a sign on the outside of the building?
Well, I do still own the building, and I plan to lobby the city of Cambridge to change the zoning laws to make it illegal to hang a sign of any kind.
Well, all right. Finally, what do you think of Mach's prospects going forward?
Well, let me close with another analogy. There are a lot of rumblings within Mach right now that could be the precursor to explosive growth. It's kind of like when a warthog starts feeling a little queasy after eating some deer meat that's been lying out in the sun too long. Although there's no way for anyone to know it yet, the warthog knows that there's something explosive coming.